This is a quick win episode of the Learn It, Do It podcast. One topic, to the point, real value designed for you to put into action right away. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to another quick win episode of the Learn It, Do It podcast. I'm Pete, joined as always by my lovely wife and co-host Ree. And today we really want to define what we mean by being efficient in your business.
I love this. So if you've listened to us before, you know that we're all about efficiency, right? Work smarter, not harder. But we realize that maybe people don't necessarily understand what we mean when we say be more efficient. So we thought we'd really dive into the different ways that we do that, how we kind of figure out how to be more efficient, and just basically talk about our favorite topic today.
So to a business owner, efficiency means what?
So efficiency means getting things done with the least amount of time, money, and energy possible while still getting the desired results, right?
Because ultimately what we're trying to do here is grow a business, make more money, sell more products, sell more service. And I think you would all agree with me that our goal is to do it in the least amount of time or spending the least amount of resources, correct?
Absolutely. I think that's always the goal, no matter really who you are, right?
Yeah.
So being more efficient means getting things done in a good way, right? It doesn't mean you're compromising on quality or you're trying to get things done quickly and terribly, right? It's all about getting it done well, but also doing it as efficiently as possible, least amount of resources, whether that's time or money or even just your own energy.
So you always hear us saying, well, you need to be efficient. Look for where you're not efficient and look to try to be efficient. Now, to somebody who has no idea what we're talking about, what are we looking for? Is it the way I'm running my business every day? Is it a certain process? Like where am I supposed to uncover this so that I can be better at what I'm not very good at?
Okay. So typically what we do is try to find efficiencies like where you're falling short in your business, right? So one way that we like to do this is think about the processes that you do in your business. So some people, you have a same process. It's the same thing every single time, whether maybe it's onboarding for you and your clients, right? And you do that same thing over and over again. This is a great way for you to implement something to make it more efficient, right? Whether that is, maybe it's a form, right? Maybe you have the same conversation with every single person that calls your company that's interested in hiring you. And instead of having that same conversation with every person, you've realized, well, if I'm going to ask those same questions, maybe on my website, I can put a form there that person fills out so that by the time I talk to them, we're already at step 2.
Exactly. So that you already know what the initial inquiry, the initial, like, what is this about? You figured out, and now you can get right to productive time with this person.
Exactly. The other thing that does is it saves you time from talking to people that might not be the right clients for you, right? Sometimes you have to hop on the phone, maybe ask a few questions to realize, well, maybe you're not within their budget, or maybe what you do isn't exactly what they're looking for. If you can have them figure that out by filling out a form, well, now you've given yourself all of that time that you would normally spend talking to the wrong people. Now you have more time to talk to the right people.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing we like to do is figuring out different workflows. So, for us, process is really important. If you're having a different process for each person you talk to, well, that's going to be very hectic for you to kind of figure out in your head where people are at.
Right. I want to just stop and talk about that for a second. So what often happens is you're out there pounding the pavement, trying to get new business, new clients, new customers. And what you tend to do is bend what you do in order to suit their needs. So that you feel like, because you feel this need and this lack, and that you need to get everybody on board with you.
Right. But you also want to accommodate everyone, right?
But what we're telling you is that is not the way to do this. You have to have your process. You have to have your process in place, and you stick by your process. That is your boundaries, your process. This is how your company runs. And if someone doesn't like that, well, maybe they're not the best client for you, because we're trying to be efficient. And if you are out there. Go ahead.
And if you think about it on the flip side, right, when you're about to buy something or hire somebody, I know this has happened to us many times where we're like, all right, great, we're going to do this. So what are the next steps, right? And if the person I'm hiring doesn't seem to have confidence in what those next steps are, right? Because they're used to catering everything to whatever I want. That doesn't leave me very confident in their service, right? I'm like, shouldn't you have a process that you go through? Isn't there a normal thing that would happen next?
I shouldn't be the professional in the situation. I'm hiring you to be the professional. And in that sense, you are the trusted advisor to tell me what to do next, how this is all going to pan out, and how it's going to solve it's going to be the solution for my pain point. I'm coming to you because I have a pain point, and I need that to be solved. And so for you as a business owner, you need to have a succinct process that everyone goes through. So that way, you know that you're being efficient and you're checking off all the boxes. You're not missing anything. Clients are being left behind because you know that you are following your process.
Right. And something I think that's really important is efficiency is something that's ongoing, right? So it's not like, oh, okay, I made myself super efficient, checked all the boxes, done, right? It's something that we're constantly working on. So, even though you and I are always thinking about how we can be more efficient, every couple days, something might happen where we're like, oh, you know what? I need to make that a standard templated email, right? Because that templated email is something if I've written it 3 times, okay, well, that needs to be a template.
Exactly.
Just save myself time.
You'll uncover things in your day to day, and like you just said, efficiency is something that you work on consistently. So we might think, hey, we're slick and smooth right now. And then tomorrow someone calls up and says, hey, I didn't quite, and we will find that there's there's this huge inconsistency and I can fix it and then move on and be more efficient. And so another way, so we were talking about process. You said you can use templated emails, you can use forms. Another thing, if you find yourself explaining the exact same thing, the exact same way on the phone or in an email to a client, you can make that a video.
Oh, that's a great one.
You can make that a video.
Yeah.
And just email it to them. And especially if it's an onboarding or if it's a FAQ type of situation where everyone keeps asking you the same kinds of questions. So for us in our business, some of our WordPress sites have a couple blog features that we end up having to tell our clients how to use. And eventually we're like, why don't we just make this a video?
Right.
And so when their website is finished, we say, here's your, getting started,
tutorial
video. And it will tell them exactly how to put the blog into their website, publish the blog, and do all those things.
Right, exactly. And so that saves me the time of having to do it. It also saves them, having to pay me to teach them how to do it over and over again. When somebody new works there or whatever, now they can reference it. Video is a great way to save time. We also, we've been talking to some of our clients recently where they spend a lot of their time going out and meeting with different business owners to try and, tell them about their business. Well, business owners don't have a ton of time to just, kind of learn about your business. So video is a great way to say, here's how you can learn more about how my service can help you. And people are more willing to sit down on their own time and watch a couple minute video rather than taking, 15, 20, 30 minutes out of their day to sit down with you in person. So that's a great way to be efficient both sides, right?
Yeah.
For you and your potential clients.
And that's specifically, we're talking about your process when you're interacting with clients. Another way for client-based, efficiencies are if you find yourself emailing your clients through the process or emailing your team through the process to work on a client. If you find yourself living in email and trying to search, where did I put that? How you need to just stop for a second and think about using a software.
Yes, there are systems for this, right? So I am a huge fan of project management software, CRMs, customer relationship management softwares. These are designed to solve some of these problems for us, right? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're someone who has a million spreadsheets to try and organize yourself, trust me, there's a system out there that will help you.
They're not expensive.
No,
you can find ones that are not expensive.
Yeah. So, we use Rike for our project management, WRIKE. No soliciting here. We just love them. Yep. So we use Rike. We actually use their free version, which is a great place to get started. So you can start to manage smaller teams. But we love it because rather than me trying to figure out, where in that email did my client say they needed this? Or where did they attach that logo that I have to use for that? Instead, as soon as I get that from somebody, I attach it to the task. Then it's given to all of the people on my team who need it, and it's all in one place. Really easy to find. None of us are searching through our emails to find out who asked what are we supposed to do next. It's all in one place.
You don't get lost in an email thread. It's all based on the task, and it's all laid out in the timeline in your project management software. And on the client side, we have a CRM called Less Annoying CRM.
We love them.
It's awesome. It does everything you need it to do. It's very cheap. And this is so that every time the client emails us, they get put in a thread in their profile in our system so that when we are like, where is it? We just look them up.
Search for that person.
And then boom, there's all of our correspondence in one thing. And then we can also just kind of timeline out when the project should be due and
so
milestones.
You can create custom workflows. So these processes, we know when somebody hires us for a website, there's a certain number of steps that always need to be taken, no matter what kind of website that is. And so we put that out in a process, as they call it in CRM or Less Annoying CRM, and we attach that to the person so that we always know at a glance, anyone on our team can click on any of our clients and see exactly where they are in the process, what needs to be done next, and that keeps us efficient so we don't drop the ball here and there and realize, step 3 never got done and now we need it.
So as we said, efficiency is ongoing, and you're always looking to fix things. Things are going to evolve. Things are going to change. And so you have to just keep your ear to the ground when you're doing this. You'll find an inefficiency because it's going to hit you in the face, and it's going to be kind of a stressful situation. But one of the biggest things about being efficient is that you are going to make more money.
Yes. So I think this is something that's kind of just overlooked a lot, is that being more efficient, oftentimes the obvious thing that it does for you is it saves you some time, right? But when you're in business for yourself, your time is money, right? How many times have we heard that? So if you save yourself an hour of time, right? Somebody actually said this to me when I started using a project management software, is they said, okay, if you're going to pay X amount for project management software, if it saves you however many hours a month, is it worth the cost, right? And when I looked at that, I'm like, oh my God, well, my project management software is right now it's free, but we used to pay for it, $100 a month. Well, if that saved me an hour of time, which it saved me way more than an hour of time, I promise you, then it's worth it, right? So thinking about how time is money in your business, if you save yourself an hour of time, well, that hour can now be used to do money-making activities, getting clients, signing clients, doing client work, rather than you kind of getting lost in the shuffle of the stuff that you have to do to get a client or the stuff that you have to do to maintain a client. Now you can do the things that actually make you money, or you can actually use that extra time to hire somebody because you have time to make money. It kind of compounds.
The lesson is you are reinvesting what the time you're saving, and that therefore it equals money in your pocket.
Right.
So that's always a good thing. And that's what we're always striving for. We always said, how can we do the most? How can we get the most out of with the least amount of effort? And so, and it's not saying that we're not trying. We're not saying we're not putting our full effort in. We're putting our full effort in, but we're being efficient at it. We're not just banging around cans waiting for things to happen. We're making them happen and moving on.
Right. Well, I'd rather put in a full amount of effort for an hour than half of an effort for 2 hours.
Exactly.
The other thing that we usually recommend is, sometimes it's easy to find inefficiencies in your business if you just kind of do a little audit. So sometimes what we'll do is we actually have a form, and I think it's in one of our blogs on Learn It, Do It. You can check it out, but it's a time audit. And so it's basically just some questions for you to ask yourself so that you can kind of figure out where you spend the most time, where you spend the least time, where you spend the time that is the most grueling for you, right? And where you spend the time that you really enjoy. And so as you do this audit, you kind of figure out, okay, like where am I being the most inefficient? So for me, for example, for the longest time, bookkeeping was like the thing that I hate it. We're creative people, and numbers are not my thing. So for the longest time, doing the books for our business, which is obviously a very important part of your business, was something that I really dragged my feet on. I would always put it at the bottom of my list. It would kind of shuffle itself to the next day and the next day and the next day. And so finally I realized, okay, this is making me incredibly inefficient, right? I'm not doing it when I need to. So then by the time I do it, it's totally backlogged. I'm stressed about it. It's not where my brain space is. So for me, it also takes me a lot longer than it would somebody who that is their language.
Exactly.
Right? So, every time I would have to teach myself how to use QuickBooks again, which is a huge time waster. So I finally realized, okay, I either need to find a software that works for me, or I need to hire a person that can do that for me, because spending that money there is going to free up so much time and energy that I'm wasting thinking about doing it or doing it. And that was like the best move that we made.
It's all about the time and energy that you can save, because when you have a clear head, you have time, you can go out there and build the business you're trying to build.
Right.
Rather than being stuck just running the business you're running.
Yeah. And I think, the energy is an important thing, right? So it's like, I might not have spent a ton of time doing the bookkeeping when I was supposed to be doing it, but I spent a ton of mental energy thinking about how I should have been doing it.
Yeah.
And that mental energy meant that when I was doing my other work, I was very inefficient, because always in the back of my mind, I was thinking about that. And so that's another way to be more efficient, is when you are able to 100% focus on on the task that you have at hand, well, you're going to be way more efficient at it. Rather than having 7 tabs open, you're doing 10 things at once, you're taking phone calls, you're doing that. Like, this brings me to, batching tasks, which we talked about before. We have blogs, but batching tasks is a great way to be efficient as well. So kind of allow yourself to focus your brain in one space, get the things you need to done, and then you're going to be much more efficient, and you'll be able to get more accomplished.
You group together like tasks, group together like activities, and then you'll find that you're way more efficient in that way. And so the moral of this whole story is pay attention to what you're doing, find the inefficiencies, find a solution for them and just implement it immediately on the very next job. Just turn the page, say that didn't work. You know what? I'm going to make a video, and that's what I'm going to send out this video from now on. Or I'm going to, look at my workflow and make sure that, hey, I was lacking in this area. I'm going to go ahead and go fix that. And then so the very next job you get, you use your new workflow.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I have been doing this over and over and over again, so I'm going to make a template. These are all things that you can implement, like Pete said, right away. Don't make it a big thing. It's not a life change. It will feel life changing when you feel the other side of it.
Exactly.
But you can do these changes really quickly. And I hope that you guys find more ways to be more efficient in your business and ultimately make more money.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on this episode. We're also recording these episodes for YouTube, so come check us out. We'll see you around next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out more of our videos and catch us on our podcast. Let's do it.